Hello everybody, John from Movie Burners here, back with another movie review, and today I'm going to be discussing Going in Style. Now, reboots and remakes have long been the flavour of the month, whether through a lack of originality and or a desire to retell a compelling or just plain humorous story. Going in Style definitely falls under the latter. It's a whimsical, geriatric heist movie remake of the 1979 original, and it stars Morgan Freeman, Michael Caine and Alan Arkin as disenfranchised pensioners fighting back against the establishment. Hidden Figures director Ted Melfi lends his writing talents to the screenplay, and although it's not the most fantastic or riveting film you've ever watched, it definitely has its good moments and a serious thematic message underneath, most notably about the ruthlessness of today's financial establishment and the complete disdain that they have for ordinary working class people, which is precisely where our trio of pension age protagonists find themselves. Joe, played by Caine, is facing foreclosure on his home after his New York bank tripled the mortgage repayments he's been lumbered with using a teaser rate loophole, and with mere weeks to rescue the situation, he finds himself with little or no options. So when his bank is robbed during a meeting with his smarmy, cowardly bank advisor Chuck, played by Pais, it plants a seed in his mind. A short while later, this fanciful idea of a heist is given further impetus when Joe and his two buddies, Wally, played by Freeman, and Albert, played by Arkin, discover that their ex-steel industry employer is moving its operations abroad and dissolving their pensions, leaving them in a perilous position and potentially relying on the state for handouts. Despite their newfound hardship, Wally is fairly dubious of the idea, and Albert, the cynical realist of the three, isn't even entertaining it, which, to be fair, following an utterly disastrous robbery attempt on a supermarket, is the illogical conclusion anyone would take. Joe, remaining unflustered however and determined, and viewing the heist as his only chance of keeping his home, does his best to coerce the two into it. Despite a reasonably successful attempt from Melfi at imbuing the film with an underlying satirical attack on greedy banks, it's still an escapist comedy at heart, with a main story arc that, quite frankly, is not to be taken too seriously. And so when the three decide to seek the assistance of a professional criminal through Joe's weed-smoking son-in-law, Murphy, played by Peter Serafinowicz, you don't blink an eyelid. The trio are regularly viewed upon with humorous contempt by the younger peers they encounter throughout, and, as is usually the case in today's society, often ignored completely, which aids them in slipping under the radar as the plans for their clever heist come together. Despite some obvious weak points in the film, for example the forced injection of predictable slapstick humour at certain points, or some of the less than believable aspects of the story, there's one facet which definitely carries this film out of the banal and unremarkable, and that is the palpable chemistry between the leading three and the performances of the strong supporting cast too. Arkin is arguably the standout of the three, his character Albert developing from a grumpy sax player who Joe describes as waiting 20 years to die, into someone with a blooming love interest and a renewed purpose in life. Meanwhile, Caine and Freeman are fantastic, delivering pitch-perfect performances as the disenfranchised pensioners come buddies. Their interactions together are often funny and heartwarming. Christopher Lloyd does well in his cameo as the eccentric Milton, whilst both Anne Margaret and Matt Dillon also put in solid showings, the former in particular as Annie. Now, there's a great many parallels with another brilliant film I watched round about the same time, which shared many of the same satirical themes, that film being Hell and High Water. Both feature threat of foreclosure, the robbing of banks for morally good reasons that leave the viewer rooting for the robbers, strong satirical themes aimed firmly at the financial establishment, and both choose to heavily focus on post-recession hit society and the effects on most of the vulnerable within. It also has some great infectious humour, some brilliant little action moments as well, and it's not a bad little film at all. I look forward to watching this one purely because of the cast and the leading trio alone, and I certainly wasn't disappointed. I particularly loved how it broke down the heist in the final 20 minutes or so. As a fan of the TV show Hustle from a good few years back, which liked to explain the various different heists in a similar vein, that is something which is right up my street, and this certainly had a very similar feel to that. Ultimately, it's not the greatest film in the world. I don't think I'm stepping out of line when I say that, but it is an entertaining, as I say, a light-hearted popcorn flick with some excellent performances from some acting legends, and it's absolutely deserving of a viewing. I'll be giving this one a 3.5 out of 5. Remember guys, if you're enjoying the content we're putting out, then do subscribe to us on YouTube, iTunes and Google Play, whilst also giving us a little follow on Facebook at Movie Burner Entertainment and on Twitter at Movie Burners. You can also catch up with all the latest reviews we're putting out on the Movie Burner blog at movieburnerentertainment.org. Until the next time, goodbye.